My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see all my latest views on politics, sports, and a whole bunch of other topics, go to counterpropa.com. My latest Counterpropa article is also in the Huffington Post. It's enjoying President Trump, then blame Democrats for cheating Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren was silenced. That's what people are outraged about today. But she was always silent when it comes to the biggest issues. She was silent when Bernie Sanders was cheated. She didn't endorse Bernie Sanders. This is a big deal. She could have spoken up, but that would mean that she ruffled the feathers of some of the Democratic establishment. She never had a problem with that early on. So in 2014, I wrote an article in the Huffington Post. Elizabeth Warren, not Hillary Clinton, should be the next president of the United States, or the first female president of the United States. I wrote that in 2014 when Warren was more than willing to go after Hillary Clinton, more than willing to go after Wall Street, more than willing to be vocal, take a bold stance like Bernie. When Bernie Sanders was cheated, she said nothing. Standing Rock. When people, I'll read you right here, Standing Rock, 100 injured after police attack with water cannons, rubber bullets, and mace. Hundreds of people injured, people forced to strip naked. One woman's arm almost blown off. One woman lost sight in her eye. Where was Elizabeth Warren? Was she protecting the Standing Rock Sioux? Was she speaking out against this brutality? No, because it didn't happen under Trump. So she was silent about Standing Rock. So first she was silent about Bernie. Then she was silent about Standing Rock. Have you heard her talk about breaking up too big to fail banks? No. She's silent now on all her core, the original, the value system that got her respect, she's completely silent on. In terms of hiding behind civil rights icons, the Democratic Party right now, whether it's Coretta Scott King with Elizabeth Warren, or whether it's Democrats and John Lewis, what they're doing is they don't care about ending the prison industrial complex, ending poverty. The fact that under President Obama, the poverty rate in the African American community has increased from 25% in the last year of Bush to 27+% under Obama. That's according to NBC News. So where are people talking about that? They're not talking about that. The big structural issues that Elizabeth Warren used to be very vocal about, she's now silent on. In terms of Elizabeth Warren, what's taken place is a political career that definitely sacrificed a value system to appease the establishment, Democratic establishment, who revolves, and they revolve only around the Slate Daily Beast. Oh, this is sexist, that's sexist. Nothing talking about when Berta Cáceres in Honduras called out Hillary Clinton, and then she was assassinated. Nothing about all the women around the planet that suffer from Democrats and Republicans, and both of them uniting when it comes to foreign policy and military interventions. How many women throughout the country, throughout the planet and the country also, in terms of the 2.5 million Americans who have served in both wars, and all the people who have suffered, who've lost their lives, who've been wounded. It affects women in this country as well. So when you talk about sexism and Elizabeth Warren being silenced, it's all grandstanding, it's all theater. Issues that affect women in the country and around the planet. The biggest issues like war and global conflict, you'll never get Elizabeth Warren to talk about those things. You'll get Tulsi Gabbard to talk about those things. You'll get Bernie Sanders to talk about those things. But all Democrats are doing right now is they're all talk and show, but when it comes to structural reform, the issues that Bernie Sanders was talking about, the issues that Tulsi Gabbard is talking about. In addition to that, did you notice in the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, they did not let Nina Turner speak? Why is that? So don't stand behind this ridiculous, oh, they silenced Elizabeth Warren. Oh, that's so outrageous. They silence anyone, man or woman. If it doesn't suit the Democratic establishment, they'll silence you. The fact that Warren is speaking out on only the safest issues, that says something. And also, I don't know if I brought this up, Cory Booker and Jeff Sessions had joint legislation in 2015. Nobody talked about that. Maybe I did. Maybe I'm like suffering from Alzheimer's, but I'll just say it again. Booker Sessions introduced bill to award Congressional Gold Medal to Selma marchers. Does anybody see the hypocrisy in this? So you have Ted Cruz, who was on Obamacare when his wife left Goldman Sachs, and you have Cory Booker with joint legislation with Jeff Sessions, writing a bill with Jeff Sessions to honor Selma marchers. Did Elizabeth Warren read a portion of this bill when she's protesting Sessions? No. Finally, you don't like Jeff Sessions? I don't either. I don't know how much worse he'll be than Loretta Lynch, because when you look at her tenure and you look at unarmed black citizens being assaulted by police or law enforcement, what on earth did she do to protect the interests of black citizens throughout in Baltimore? What did Eric Holder do with Ferguson? What did the Democrats do to protect the interests of black citizens? If you can tell me below, let me know. But it's all theater. That's my point. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.